We're live, everybody. What is up? What's going on?
Leave. I will never leave. I am the voice you're hearing in the hall. I am the sound in the basement. I am the one luring Kevin upstairs.
I am the one who knocks. I am the danger.
I am the one who knocks on your bitch's cabin. And I'm the one who helped coin that catchphrase. This is Luke Ponto, and this is his channel, so I'm going to let him start.
But this is actually going to be kind of interesting. I mean, I've done live reviews before on the channel, but this time we're going to do two of them with a guest, which is my best buddy, Grant.
And for the first time, yes, and for the first time when we've done a solo review, it's for two movies that we actually want you to see.
Yes. I would honestly say two of the biggest diamonds in the rough when it comes to movies this year. I would say these are the two. Which you can see obviously in the background of the stream. Chang can dunk and Samuel Bowden's Cobweb.
Samuel Bowden, who is an Instagram friend. I'm not even joking, he follows me on Instagram because he saw my review.
Nice.
He's a cool guy.
So yeah, let's see. We already got somebody here. GM Light is in the chat. Says Cobweb was super slept on. Had the misfortune of being a casualty of Barbenheimer. That is true.
I will say this though about that whole weekend slot that they put it in. On the weekend of July 21st, if you're someone who sees everything like this guy, you were eating good at the cinema that weekend. Between the three,
because you had Barbie, you had obviously you had Barbie, you had Oppenheimer, and then Cobweb.
Good movies all the way down.
Barbenheim. There we go.
Even on streaming, the Beanie Bubble was really good.
There you go. See, you had a good weekend that week.
Yeah, it really was.
I mean, there's only in regards to really quick before we really get started with these reviews. What was the one weekend where you were this was not a good weekend for movies? Just this year.
I wouldn't say this was a bad weekend for movies because every weekend there is potential to find something that's. Because I do every week, for those who follow me on Instagram, and if you haven't, follow me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram, everybody, and it's public now. It wasn't for a long time. Sometimes I will struggle where it's I didn't give this movie 5 stars plus, but I gave it 5 stars. For instance, the week I came back from Utah, which I believe was 4th of July week. The best movie I saw that weekend, and I think the only movie I gave above a 4.5 stars to was Joyride. So it was just kind of
Grant, you'll be happy. I'm watching it tomorrow.
Good. It's actually, and that's not to say anything that
because I'm getting my Blu-ray in the mail, so I will be watching it tomorrow.
And that's not to say that with Joyride, I was making peace with the fact that it was the best of a bunch of bad movies. No, Joyride was a really good movie. It's just that it was the only really good movie that week, which sometimes I struggle. When I was the week before that, when I was on my trip, I had 3 films of the week, and they were all what I saw on vacation with my aunt. It was Past Lives, Everybody, and Nimona. Were all 3 on equal footing for me. But yeah, it's rare that you have a week where there's nothing. Maybe the first week of December. But even that, last year we had Violent Night, which was really good. I think I at least gave that 4.5 stars. So I mean, I think that I wasn't doing film of the week. The first week of December, my first year I did this, was rough because literally the only movie I saw that was a new release, because it was post-Thanksgiving, was True to the Game 3, which was a movie I loved for all the wrong reasons, but I loved it. But I'll say this, I also love it still because even to this day, it is my most watched video ever by a country mile. It is 5.9k views and the most likes I've had. It's insane.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. You guys really like True to the Game 3. So did I. Not for any of the reasons you guys probably did, but so did I.
But I was gonna say though, let's see. But also this is I should have asked this when we were back in March when you were on the show with me. I I probably should have asked if you remember, like, what was the first video you saw on my channel?
First video I saw on your channel.
Like, that you remember seeing.
I remember the first one I watched in its entirety is when you and I think Mind of a Nerd did the best of 2021. I think was the first video. I think that's because you just subscribed to me and I'm like, oh, I want to check this guy's shit out. And I watched your video. I'm like, oh, I like this guy, and I subbed back. I think that was the first one, and then I think the first one I watched where I was live and I like commented once I got to know you guys was your Jackass Forever watch along.
That was a fun one to do, like, because we were again, there was like a rough time going through that because I mean we couldn't get schedules like completely ramped up.
I think it was one of your first watch alongs, wasn't it? It was early. It was in the infancy of that running thing on your channel.
Yeah. So,
and I think the first one I was on with everybody wasn't it? We did a watch along. It wasn't a Bullet Train. It was before that. I'm trying to remember what that movie was. And we wasted all. That's when I first kind of met Fritzky and I think Becca. I can't remember what that was. Was that Oh geez. It was Sonic. It was Sonic 2.
It was Sonic 2.
Yeah. It was Sonic 2. Go watch that. It's a treat. The Sonic 2 watch along. That was a lot of fun. We barely talked about
we made you laugh your ass off when it came to you laughed your ass off when Fritzky did the dance thing. Like you. I challenge you to a dance competition. Like,
dance off, bro. Dance off, bro. You want to step up? You want to step up to the streets? You want to step up to the streets?
To the streets?
Jason Segel, I love you. All is forgiven for with.
Let's see, Grants. What's your? Oh, here we go.
There it is. That is my channel name and my name on here. If you haven't yet, subscribe if you wanna. You don't have to, no pressure. But if you wanna,
come on, guys. Just go subscribe to this guy.
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I make some okay shit. It's okay. I think I got at least one new sub off of this. Thanks, guys. I don't know who that was. They didn't bell, but thanks, guys. Or at least I think they did. I've been lost in the whole.
What would the stream be without this dude?
Jared Runner, the guy that the second I start making actual real money, I am gonna owe some money because this dude. The reason my channel looks as nice as it does, because I'm shit at everything else, is because this dude makes my thumbnails. So thank you, Jared. I really appreciate it truly. When I start making real money at this, I'm giving you a cut of some kind. I'm either gonna give you like money, or if I make peanuts because barely anybody watches my thing, I'll give you some digital codes or some shit. Like I don't know. I'll send you like a DVD or something.
Oh dang, dude! You already got a couple new subs. You got GM and you got Noah coming to sub to your channel. So
what's up? What's up? Thanks, guys. I got a couple more in there. Thank you all. Thank you,
dude. I mean, it's gonna happen, man. You're gonna get to the level that you're gonna get to the sub level where I am right now. Like,
dude,
you'll get there.
You're almost at the level that you can start to qualify. I think for partner, right? 500 is the
but then again, though, I still need to hit the watch hour limit for that too.
Well, let me check that while I'm on here real quick. It's looking like my eligibility. I have 3 video uploads in the last 90 days, but that's not hard for me.
I mean, that's not hard for me either.
Morty. We need Szechuan sauce, Morty. Grant can't get his damn McNuggets today, Morty, or else he's gonna lose consciousness at the sight of a dude dressed as Rick kicking him in the head for freaking McNuggets. Anyway.
Morty.
That's a story. That is a story for another day. I have. Okay, so I'm actually a good ways away. I have like I'm broaching 700 public watch hours. That's still not bad. That's still, real quick sidebar, I guess. If anyone remembers, I think it was like 2017 when they did that. And I remember that it was the same week that really horrible shooting in Las Vegas happened, and a small sector of the audience didn't care about the loss of life. They just cared about this, and it was just the stupidest thing in the world. was when they did that one Saturday when McDonald's was doing that. They're bringing back Szechuan sauce for one day, and they didn't anticipate like how many Rick and Morty fans there were, and so people just showed up in droves, and they had to send like attack helicopters to freaking Los Angeles to like quell the. They had freaking Pickle Ree guy showing up. I was out and about that day, and I just kind of like hold on, let's stop at McDonald's for a second. I'm gonna see if I can get some Szechuan sauce. And I got there. I got in the back of this endless line, and in front of me was a dude dressed. Oh, there was a dude dressed. Hi, hello again, host of this channel. Rick Sanchez. We don't want part 2 of Knock Knock at Your Bitch's Cabin now, do we?
No, we do not.
So I was standing in the back of this endless line at McDonald's. I stood in the back. I stood there for 15 seconds. In front of me was a dude dressed head to toe as Rick from Rick and Morty. I'm talking like the wig, everything. And I just said, no. And I turned around and I got back in the car. They're like, what? I think I was with my friends at the time. They're like, weren't you going to go get some Szechuan sauce? I'm like, dude, do you see the line out there? It's like, I do not want... If I even move slightly over that guy, he's going to think I'm cutting him, and the last thing I'm going to see before I lose consciousness is some crazy dude dressed as Rick kicking me in the head. That's not going to happen. And then literally the next day, even in my local St. Louis news station talking about the riots at McDonald's, I'm like, see? I told you. Didn't I tell you? I know this shit. So yeah.
Yep.
Don't riot over McNuggets. There are much better fast foods that you could riot over.
Yeah,
than
for sure.
McNuggets. I like McNuggets. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, where's that energy when Homeboy here wants to rally the troops to get Burger King to bring back Shake 'em Up fries and Cine Minis? I don't see any of you a-holes with me on that one. Where's that riot?
Let's see. He says, "You fellas have any movies you're hyped to rewatch when the spooky season rolls around?" I already got my picks.
Of like the last couple years, you mean?
Groovy.
Oh yeah, I'm watching Evil Dead Rise on Halloween this year.
I'm gonna rewatch all of these.
Evil Dead 2. I think I said it best. Literally, Ben said, "I heard you down the hallway." I'm like, "Hey, I know you did, fucker." When after Evil Dead Rise, and me and Ryan were doing our first reactions, and I said, "What?" He's like, and he was like, "What did you think?" I was like, "I liked it." He goes, "What did you think?" And I said, "What did I think?" Excuse me. Yeah. And it was like, they're like, I went full Bruce Campbell. Now, for those who've seen Evil Dead Rise, and it's not a major spoiler, but for those who've seen Evil Dead Rise, did you notice the Bruce Campbell cameo? Okay, so in the movie, if you remember, and for those who haven't seen it, look out for this. Auntie Beth, she's listening to the recordings. She has like the headphones on, right?
Yep.
The narrator is Bruce Campbell. Now, people are like, oh, so he's just the narrator. Maybe not, because Lee Cronin said in an interview, they said, explain Bruce, it's like, this is the first Evil Dead movie without Ash Williams, and he says, or is it? And like, what do you mean? He goes, here's the thing. He narrated the tapes. That is Ash Williams. He's displaced in time after the events of Army of Darkness.
Boom.
Lee Cronin, God bless you, man. You mensch you. Thank you so much. You made an awesome ass movie.
Yes, for sure. So let's begin. We're first going to start off with Chang Dunk.
This movie, easy there, Ponto. You almost got society off of YouTube for that one. You almost did the Chang Dunk.
No.
No, but in all seriousness, this movie totally got buried in the Disney algorithm.
I agree with you. Like I was like, you recommended it to me, and I was like, oh, this is Disney Plus. I'm probably not gonna like this. And then when I watched it, I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Pleasant surprise, right? I've noticed of late, and it's been that way kind of since its inception, that Disney Plus has kind of been. People always like, oh, Disney Plus original movie, but they're only thinking about things like Artemis Fowl. But there are a lot of these Disney Plus movies that a lot of them sadly probably just got wiped from Disney Plus. Like Crater for sure did, because there was a whole controversy about that one getting taken, basically becoming lost media because they took it off Disney Plus after like I think like only like 5 or 6 weeks on the service. Like, give the movie a chance, man. But this movie came out, I think it was like March. And I just watched it like I do. I'm like, oh, what's the new movie? He's like, Chink and Dunk. Okay, I guess I'll watch this on this like Monday at 2 in the afternoon. I was kind of surprised at how invested I was, and then by the end I was like, is this like one of the best movies of the year so far? I think it is. Way to go, Disney. And then I had that thought of like, way to go, Disney. And then my man turned to, wait a minute, fuck you, Disney. You buried this movie. Why did nobody know? I didn't know what this was. I didn't even know there was a trailer for it. I was just like, Chink and Duck, what the fuck is that? And then I watched it, I'm like, this is a great dude. What's going on over there at the Disney offices? Like, this is actually legitimately, and it has stakes, and it's not just Disney, like cutesy, oh, Disney. There's some actual, like, real shit that they get into in this movie that is not typical of a Disney movie. I felt the same way about Prom Pact, which was another kind of
like with this one, like you think, oh, it was just a kid who can dunk a basketball. No, he can't. Like,
it's also about racism. It's about the fact that, which you wouldn't expect. It's about how someone who is sort of the lone minority in a high school environment is treated by the majority of the high school environment. And they deal with it kind of honestly.
They're like, it felt like Disney was just like, oh, it felt like Disney was just like, yeah, we need to bring awareness to this type of race.
Well, you know what's interesting? I have a theory going around. This was not originally made to be a Disney movie. I'm convinced that this is one of those movies, since it kind of came out of nowhere. The script was in the ether, probably, I think they said it was on the Blacklist, which is like the famous list of like the best unproduced scripts. I'm going to propose something. This movie was a script that was kicking around, and eventually Disney just acquired the screenplay and put it out, knowing it wasn't a Disney, and knowing that it didn't really fit the typical Disney aesthetic. They just dropped it on Disney Plus. Because even like the filmmaking is pretty good for this movie, for like a teen comedy. So I'm going to propose that this was going to be like an independently produced project, and then Disney took it over and gave it a shot. But at the same time, they kind of didn't, because they buried it. Because there's like no stars.
Now it's just buried in the Disney Plus realm for no reason, because people are just like, it's just a Disney Plus movie.
And like, there's no stars in this movie. The only person I recognized at all was his coach, the sort of slightly older kid, was the dude from like The Binge and the Saved by the Bell reboot. He was like a minor cast member. But other than that, like, there's no notable names in this. Like, even Crater had like Kid Cudi in it. Like, there's no known people in this. So
but when we get to the next movie, there's at least 2 notable names.
I'd actually say 3, because that kid has been really. He was at least in one pretty acclaimed movie that yours truly loved from a couple years back. So
yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. But so basically, Chang decides to make a bet with a gym classmate that he can dunk a basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to take him, like 12 weeks?
Yeah.
For him to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And once he finally gets his shot, like, he goes to the big leagues for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also not just a movie about racism. This is a coming of age story.
It's a coming of age story, and I think it deals with a lot of themes too, like even the bully character. The guy is sort of racist. Like, okay, when people hear the term racism, they think like, oh, saying racial slurs at people, or the freaking MAGA hat wearing, Trump supporting, Marjorie Taylor Greene types. But it's a more subtle kind of racism of like, you're stereotyping a person or assuming that they're going to do something based on their race or something. The guy who does this in this movie is also a 3-dimensional character. He's not just some garden variety Stephen King bully. Like, he also has a depth of character and some thought put into him. He's an asshole, but he's an asshole for kind of a reason. Like, there's an actual... they do a good job of characterizing even, like... And he's a white kid. He's like a preppy, like, white sort of... The actor they got looks like he'd play a bully in a more stereotypical movie, but there's depth to that character that you don't expect.
Yeah, that's the thing I liked about this one, is that they added depth to like a bully. They never do that with most movies involving bullies. Like they don't really add depth or give us a reason why they're acting the way they are. Like the one that really comes to mind for me personally, like the one that definitely has a reason is definitely I would honestly say Max Keeble's big move when it comes to Troy.
But here's the thing.
Like there's actually a reason why he like a reason why because like seriously, there's a locker prank scene with something that traumatized him as a kid, which I found freaking hilarious.
Okay, I'll say this. I agree that Troy had a reason in that. First off, I love Max Keeble's big move. I think that movie's underrated as hell. Troy McGinty.
That's a childhood favorite of mine right there.
Oh yeah, classic. Troy McGinty had a reason to hate Max Keeble because he did sort of give sustained psychological torture toward him about a childhood trauma. But I am sorry. That running gag is funny as hell, and it gets funnier every time it comes back into the movie. The freaking frog, like Barney the dinosaur knockoff character that he's like traumatized, singing that freaking song.
And also like it wasn't just a typical like middle school bully kind of movie. Like there actually was some pretty dark tones to it. Like
there was
literally like the villain of the movie is played by Jamie Kennedy, who's the ice cream man who actually wants to kill this kid.
That's the thing is there is that sort of feeling you get when you watch movies that you loved as a kid where you're like, is this gonna age well? And aesthetically, maybe some of its forms of humor, Max Keeble's big move hasn't aged spectacularly, but I am sorry, as an adult, I was immediately tickled by the fact that one of the central antagonists of this movie is a sadistic ice cream man in a Disney film, a sadistic ice cream man played by Jamie Kennedy of all people, which that was such a weird casting choice. But it's Jamie Kennedy, pre-Son of the Mask. Like this is actually in like the Scream era. This is only like a couple years after.
This was definitely in the Scream era of Jamie Kennedy.
Before the fall from grace. And he's a sadistic ice cream man who wants to just literally kill this child because his mother sued him for feeding him like a rotten treat that almost made him really sick. And so because of the mom's lawsuit, this kid is literally chased down on his freaking paper route by a sadistic ice cream man who wants to run him down. I don't know why I find that so funny, but I do. I didn't inherently that kind of joke.
And like I said before, like the type of humor that the film goes for with like food and that kind of gross out humor, that kind of thing, I miss those days.
Like, that's a great food fight scene too.
One of the best food fight scenes, like honestly, one of the most memorable, like with playing "Ain't for me," "Ain't for me." Like when they're playing that, it's just like I jam every time.
And I know the guy's had his ups and downs as an actor, but Larry Miller was perfect casting as like the evil principal, who's basically
of the school, like
you
might be under the impression that I encourage horseplay. I excourage it.
It means the opposite of encourage. Look it up. Like it's a great movie. No, but
the scene after the food fight where the monkey literally comes in and starts just like jumping on him and like face first into the food.
God, the whole thing of, and then like the freaking marching band and the jocks like teaming up with him and they're playing like an orchestral version of "We're Not Gonna Take It Anymore." Just the whole
basically Josh Peck actually using his rope as the flag.
What's so bizarre about that movie too is it's him and the girl from that were also in Snow Day, which is another kind of underrated early 2000s.
Like, and it has the kid from Home Alone 3, if anybody doesn't know.
That's true. He also was...
Which, by the way, underrated. I don't care what y'all say. That's underrated.
Yeah, Home Alone 3 wasn't bad. All things considered. I'll say this. It's far and away not the worst Home Alone movie. That's for damn sure.
It's way better than the next three after that.
Home Sweet Home Alone... The next three? Wait, there's another one? There's three more? Okay, so there was Bringing Down the House. Oh, wait.
Taking Back the House.
Bringing Down the House was a good movie. Sorry, my bad.
Whoops.
With Steve Martin and or not Steve Martin. No, it was Steve Martin.
Yeah, Steve Martin and Queen Latifah. And I think also Eugene Levy.
And the girl from Halloween Town. Yeah, I like that movie. No,
But
but
taking back the house, though, that was
here's
an
the thing,
atrocity.
though. That movie was bad, but it had one good element. It was kind of like the Snow Day 2022 of that series, which is that French Stewart and Missy Pyle were awesome in that movie. They were the best part of that whole movie.
But that was like, but the kid in that film is so damn annoying. Like,
I can't believe this.
Dude, the kid's laugh in Taking Back the House is the most annoying kid laugh I've ever heard in my entire life.
Wasn't that the one too where they're like, oh, by the way, this kid who looks like nothing like Macaulay Culkin, he's Kevin McAllister. Wasn't that also one of the things where like, this is actually Kevin McAllister?
Like, he was actually Kevin, and I was just like, ugh.
I'm like, fucking no. Here's the thing. Look, you have multiple younger Culkins that could have played this part. If
Kieran, you could have had Kieran Culkin. You could have had Rory Culkin.
Yeah, like Kieran Culkin wasn't on Succession yet. He wasn't in Scott Pilgrim yet. Like, you could have played that part. It was early in his career.
Yeah, and also there was the Holiday Heist, which that was terrible.
Oh, that's right. That's the one where I honestly, it took me a while to figure out. Like, and if it wasn't, all due respect, if that was actually a little boy or not.
He literally looked like a 15-year-old. Like,
he did, and wasn't it the one also where he's talking with like some fat, like hairy, like 30-year-old dude, video gamer dude that's like on Twitch with him? Am I thinking of something else? Wasn't there a movie
that was
where
dumb.
like what? No, is that the one I'm thinking of where like he's on Twitch while the burglars break in and this adult is like helping him figure out how to take them all out? Am I wrong about that? Or
that might be, but who cares?
Yeah, who gives a shit? And like, here's the thing: Home Alone 3 is not bad. The first two Home Alone though are sacred. I could watch those.
They're certified classics. Like,
I'll say this. Everybody knows, and I'm not going to go into it past this, is that I hated our the president we just had. I don't like Donald Trump. I will never like Donald Trump. There is one thing that involved Donald Trump that I liked. It was Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. That was the one.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't because of him, but he was there. Well, in The Little Rascals. I always forget he was in The Little Rascals, too. He was the rich kid's
right.
dad.
But I was trying to remember the line. Oh, I believe you. Put my Tommy gun down. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
That's the first one.
Yeah, that's true.
This is the second one. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.
For the first Home Alone.
They use that gag. They use that gag at least like 3 times. Like,
how have they not made Angels with Filthy Souls into its own movie by now?
Yeah, I'm gonna get it to the count of 10 to get you ugly, lying, no good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead.
You know what else I hated about Home Sweet Home Alone 2?
What?
Is the callbacks for from the original movie stop the movie dead in its tracks, and it's made even worse. I'll tell you this: Kimmy was a better Home Alone 6 than this, because if you remember in Kimmy, the dude who played Buzz was in that movie playing a character named Kevin. So they kind of loosely, which is clearly an in-joke about Home Alone. Whether you like that movie or not, and I very much did, and I know you very much didn't, it was a hell of a lot better than Home Sweet Home.
I will agree with you on that, at least.
But, like, for instance, the line where, after he's basically tortured these poor people for wanting their property back, like, you little bastard, when Ellie Kemper, who's too good for this, same with everybody in that movie, is running upstairs, and she's just like she's getting madder, understandably, she's just being tortured, and she's already been, like, electrocuted, slipped on stuff, whatever. And then he goes, are you, something to the extent of, like, he says the line, he's like, are you done? Are you thirsty for more? And I'm just like, oh, fuck you, movie. Fuck you. You haven't earned that line. You're not Home Alone. You will never be Home Alone.
For sure, but again, with Chang and Dunk, bro, again, some good emotional bits to it. I know, but that, again, just the thing with us, that happens. Like, we will talk about other things at times too, but I mean, at least we're still somewhat talking about the movie. That's what counts.
Right. We're talking about movies of a similar type to this one.
That's true. Yes.
You know what else
But
I appreciate about Chang Dunk? Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For me, I had a couple small problems with this.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't that I was bored, it's just I had to pause the movie really quick to go use the bathroom. And then I looked and I saw how much time, like how far I was in, and I was like, dude, like there was so many things that happened. Like, how is it not like further done? Like,
well, that actually is an element of it I liked, because when it got to the halfway point, and I won't say what happens because it's actually kind of a good surprise. It's actually it kind of threw me for a loop. There is a moment where you think the movie is rounding its end, and you realize there's like a good 45 to 50 minutes of the movie left, and then the movie kind of subverts your expectations in a way that actually kind of delighted me with how the rest of it went. So I kind of didn't mind that at all.
Yeah, but with me, I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then also, I think the film ended a bit too abruptly. I actually wanted to see that dunk. Like,
but I kind of like, you know what it kind of reminded me of? It's going to be a very weird comparison. But I guess not, because it's also technically a Disney movie, kind of. It reminded me kind of the ending of Monsters, Inc. In that, Monsters, Inc. has a perfect ending because it's a subtle ending and they don't show you everything. So it feels like they're respecting the audience's intelligence. Like, one of the things I love about Monsters, Inc. is if you remember the ending, everybody, this movie's 22 years old. I can spoil this movie.
I of course remember the ending. Like,
okay, but just
where, like once Sully opens the door and he says "Boo,"
but it
you actually hear Boo's voice, but you don't know that it's her.
But it focuses on his face, so it lets us realize that, like, oh, she's happy to see him, he's happy to see her. That's what they did with this movie too, to an extent, where he kind of lets go of the ball. Spoiler alert, I guess. And then you see he looks on, and you hear like a swish, and you see his face like beaming, and then it cuts to black. I actually like that. I think that kind of works.
I mean, at least like for me, that worked. Like,
yeah, because you know what happened. It's not like, but they're not holding your hand about it. They're not Disneyfying it, you know. Which I like.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So yeah, my score for this one, it's definitely high, but I would say a high 4-star.
I'm pretty sure I gave it 5. This movie really surprised me. I mean, I for those who want to find it, I did review this on my channel the weekend it came out, and I have a nifty little playlist just for you guys of all the movies from all the years I've done this in order of release date. So, yeah.
There you go.
Still have a lot to watch.
There it is.
Yeah, I've been on.
And now we're going. And now, I mean, this was definitely a diamond in the rough for the year, but now we're going to go on to the one that I think is the number one hidden gem of 2023. That being Cobweb.
Okay, before you do that, can I make one more little point about Chang Dunk?
Go right ahead.
That I don't think I even mentioned in my review. I might have, but I don't know.
Let's go.
I liked the development of the relationship between him and the mom, from where it started to where it ended. I actually thought that was handled with real grace. It wasn't cutesy about it. It wasn't cliched about it, because when you think, like, okay, she's the strict mom who doesn't know why he wants to follow his dreams. You think you've seen that before, but the way that they approach it feels kind of realistic. It doesn't feel like they do like the High School Musical thing of like the dad doesn't want the son being in the musical. It's not that kind of thing. It feels more naturalistic, which I appreciated.
Yeah, don't try to go like, oh yeah, like here's his dad, he's very strict. Yeah, don't do that bullshit.
It's not as tropey as it sounds when you see the trailer and you hear the title and what the movie's about.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now
we
can go on to Cobweb. So this one was wasn't this a directorial debut of Samuel Bowden?
If not the directorial debut, it was close to it. I think he might have done one of the segments of like a horror anthology, maybe.
Maybe, but
he's a French director. He's French. I know that. Maybe he did a movie in France.
Yep.
This might be his English language thing. Let me just while you're talking about, I'll look it up for you.
All right. And this movie stars the two really talented people, like in this one, Lizzie Kaplan and Anthony Starr.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw the trailer for this movie, it was exactly the night that I saw Barbie. It was when I got the trailer for Cobweb, and I was like, whoa.
Okay, it was his directorial debut. He previously directed a miniseries for Netflix called Marianne, and he wrote it.
So that doesn't really count, though.
Like, but this is like his first feature film, yeah.
First feature film. Uh-oh! Zach attacks reviews! What's up, man?
So Cobweb was the tits, bro.
Yes.
Now, can I make a suggestion for the review portion?
Go right ahead.
Let's be as vague as possible, because there are a lot of people who don't know anything about this movie, and that's for the best. The trailer actually doesn't tell you much, which I actually really appreciate.
It was like, dude.
Yeah.
It was exactly like Barbarian, where it was like, they barely show you anything. Like, the only thing that Barbarian gave away was its first act.
I have to, well, not even the first act. Like, the movie, the closest thing you get from the trailer is maybe the parents are a little creepy, and that's it. And the kid has nightmares. That is it. That is only like maybe the first 15 minutes of this movie. And then it's definitely not only what this is about. That's all I will say.
And again, like I said, it's like Barbarian. It subverts your expectations.
Oh, 100%.
So if you guys were big fans of Barbarian like we were, and I think you'll really get a kick out of Cobweb. Like,
there's a lot of Malignant in this too.
Basically you have the mother, which is Barbarian, and then you have the father, which is Malignant. Combine the two together, you get Cobweb.
So, after watching this movie, I said this to my buddy Ryan, I saw a trailer for this the week I saw it. I saw the trailer for this. I didn't know this existed. I bought my ticket already. I was like, oh, Cobweb, what the fuck is this? Okay, I'll go see it. Because it was at the theater. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go. Ryan, you want to see this movie called Cobweb? Like, what is it? I'm like, I don't fucking know. You want to see it? The poster is kind of creepy. The trailer showed up in my screening of the first Terrifier when they did the re-release this summer. So I got the trailer for that like that week. And I was like, this is what I'm seeing on Saturday. This looks kind of interesting. But it was really vague. Ryan never saw a damn thing. He saw the poster and he said, yeah, that looks kind of cool. I'll go see it. I says, I won't see a trailer. We both loved that movie. And what we loved about it was, first off, I told him, I think in our first reactions, I said, like, between this and The Boys, I'm convinced
this is facts.
Very, very, very true.
Thank you, Noah.
But the thing that's interesting is, I said, between this movie and The Boys, I'm convinced that as nice as a guy as he may very well be, I'm afraid to meet Anthony Starr because I'm afraid he's just Homelander all the time. Because everything I've seen of him.
Don't forget about Banshee, like because he'll make your bones snap. Like,
is he a villain on Banshee too?
No, he's the main character. It's just like
he has a resting sinister face.
That's like there's seriously like a scene like where he breaks it. Like not only does he break a guy's arm, but he breaks the guy's fingers.
That dude is one of the scariest freaking actors. Like his resting face is, I'm gonna rip your head off your shoulders. That dude has a scary mug on him.
Like, bro, he just like
dude.
So yeah, if you guys like crime shows, like serious rated R crime shows, you guys will love Banshee.
Well, this movie, the other thing is, I think that they had a particular coup. So this movie, for those who don't really know about the backstory, because I even talked to Samuel Bolton about this. Mind you, I am not saying I like this movie because I kind of sort of know Samuel Bolton. That's not why. I didn't know him when I saw it. I still love the movie. So this movie was acquired by Lionsgate. Like, on the script level. It was also a blacklisted script.
Right.
And one of its earliest champions was Seth Rogen. Who, is a producer on this movie. It's also not a comedy at all. It is very much a straight up horror movie with no comedic element really. So it's probably the least Seth Rogen-y movie Seth Rogen has had his name attached to in ever.
And honestly, dude, I'll just say this really quick. Seth Rogen has had a hell of a year, dude.
He really has. Between
Like
this,
Super Mario Brothers, Joyride, Cobweb, and Ninja Turtles. Like,
and then Dumb Money's coming out too.
That's right.
Really good. Yeah. Which
dude,
he also produced
5 in a year, dude. Dude, Seth Rogen is having a hell of a year.
Like, he really is. He's a good producer. I mean, he picks good people. And the thing is that because of that, he liked this guy's idea, and it wasn't written by Samuel Bowden, but he was tight with the screenwriter, and so he's the one who basically used his connections in the industry and with people he's worked with before to convince Anthony Starr and Lizzie Kaplan to play the parents, because he's a really good friends with Lizzie Kaplan going way back. They were in The Interview together, and then he and Anthony Starr.
Katy Perry's your favorite.
Right. He's also like the head showrunner, he and Evan Goldberg, on The Boys. So he really is tight with Anthony Starr. So he's like, okay, we're going to get these guys together because they're both so good at playing sinister characters. Like, she was on Castle Rock, Fatal Attraction, the TV shows. He of course is Homelander. And
right.
But then on top of that, because he also is in tight with like the new up-and-comers, kind of new hot up-and-comers, Woody Norman, who plays the little boy in this.
That's right. I forgot it was Woody Norman.
Who also appeared this summer in another kind of underrated gem, Last Voyage of the Demeter, which not enough people saw or talked about.
I need to see that still.
And also was in one of my top 5 favorite movies 2 years ago and gave a terrific performance, which was the Joaquin Phoenix comedy drama, Come On, Come On, which I absolutely loved. He is the boy in this. And then you got Cleopatra Coleman, who was on a show he produced called The Last Man on Earth with Will Forte. So you have all these people who have worked with Seth Rogen or who know Seth Rogen in the industry in this kind of movie that is unconventional for him to produce, but he knows, he helped in casting them because he knows what type of characters they'd be good at playing. And I loved that. And this movie it's gotten kind of a mixed critical reception, I guess. Some people who love it really love it. People who don't like it are just kind of on it. They don't like hate it. There is a cult kind of growing for this movie. Like, very recently, Red Letter Media did like a non-series episode just talking for 20 minutes about this movie, and they just both Mike and Jay were like, yeah, this is a gem. This has kind of got lost in the shuffle. Check it out. So it kind of has grown an audience on streaming now. But as one of the commenters said, it came out on Barbenheimer weekend, and it was basically sent there to die. It's a studio movie. It was made by Lionsgate, but it was only put in like something like 400 or 500 theaters.
It definitely didn't come to mine.
Right. It didn't come to my main one, but it came to O'Fallon, which is like 25 minutes away from my house. And it was there for a week. It came and went. My audience, there was actually not a terrible crowd. It was actually quite a few people. And almost everybody who saw it was like, yeah, this movie was really good. Like, they were like really impressed with it. And like, people walking out were like, that was kind of unexpected and a kind of unexpected cool little movie there.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, because I had to rent this thing when it came on digital, which it came to digital really fast.
Dude, okay, this is probably the closest. The theatrical to streaming window lately has shrunk considerably, but I'm pretty sure this was already available to rent at a pretty cheap price on like Vudu and stuff, like 2.5.
Yeah, it was $7, and I was like, I have to watch this because I saw Cody Leach's review for Cobweb, and then I was like,
You saw my review too, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
I just didn't pop in like when you were doing the review.
Yeah.
It's just I did watch your review at some point. It's just you know. So I checked it out because of you and Cody. So because I was like, what the hell is this?
So what there is to say about it, and I will say like plot wise, is there's a little boy played by Woody Norman who has horrible nightmares. His parents kind of write them off as, oh, there's something wrong. but they're they're played by Anthony Starr and Lizzie Helen. There's something sinister going on. There's something they're not talking to him about, and then his teacher becomes concerned. He's like a young boy because he's bullied on top of everything, and he seems to be hearing the voice of this girl coming through the walls of his house. And that is where I will leave it, because what happens from there, that is the first like 15 minutes in the trailer, and then everything else, it escalates to...
It's nuts.
It basically becomes, you know what it's like? Imagine if you imagined Malignant and Barbarian, if some brilliant like underground Boom Studios graphic novelist made a graphic novel limited series inspired by those two movies, it would look like Cobweb. That is what I will say about it.
Basically what it is.
It's a horror comic come to life, basically.
Yeah, but this is one of those films where it's like, it's one of those, I mean, even though, like same thing with Chang, not exactly the same thing with Chang and Dunk, but I would give it the same score as Chang and Dunk, which is 4 stars. But it's one of those films that, honestly, the more and more I think about it, either I want to go back and rewatch it, or the more that I like it. Like,
I feel the same way.
I definitely would love to. You know what? I'm thinking about this. Maybe when Fritzky's gone for the first week of October, same thing with The Blackening, we could sneak this one in too. Because
you know what? Why don't we? Okay, so The Blackening is like 90 minutes. This is like 85 minutes. This is really short. We could do like a horror night where you just do like a double feature. At least
because they're not really that long. Like,
well, and it's like it'll be like the 2 underrated sort of horror gems of the summer that like nobody talked about. You know, those 2
and then nobody saw. Like,
right. It's the only problem is it streaming anywhere for free?
Unfortunately, no. But maybe next time if I go to Walmart and they have the Blu-ray, I'll grab it. But if I don't find it at Walmart, I'll go ahead and order it online.
Yeah, because like if it's not terrible, I might be able to rent it. If it's only like $5 or $6, that's probably fine.
Yeah, but I don't know how much it's going to be by this point. Like,
because like Lionsgate, who streams Lionsgate movies? Isn't it like Amazon sometimes will stream them eventually?
It'll depend. It'll either be sometimes Amazon Prime, or it'll be Hulu, or Stars, or basically anything like that.
I'm making sort of a list of movies that have from earlier in the year that are now on Hulu that I need to watch before the year is over. Now that the year's ended.
I could tell you this though.
How to Blow Up a Pipeline's one.
That was really. I saw that one recently. I really like that one.
I've heard nothing but good things from a lot of trusted.
What I was gonna say though, you remember that movie Fear that I was telling you about?
I'm not watching that shit.
Okay, good. I was about to say because it's on Stars right now.
I have Stars. I'm still not gonna watch it. It's free to me. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna watch that.
Okay, good. I was just saying though. I mean, I wasn't gonna tell you to watch it. So
the only reason I have Stars at the moment is because the second season of Minx and Catherine Langford's new show, which is going to be finished once the strike ends. They were almost finished with it, is coming out. I also was under the impression that The Continental was going to be on Stars, but I think that like this year they moved it to Peacock.
Yeah, they moved it to Peacock for sure.
Can't wait to watch that.
But I'm gonna check on here really quick. I'm gonna check on something here on my letterbox. Come on, get to my ranking. Thank you. Okay. There's actually one I'm gonna watch in a little bit that I rented. Okay. It's gonna be on Shudder here pretty soon. I know that because it's an IFC film that's released also with Shudder.
What is it?
It's a movie. It's a little movie called Birth/Rebirth.
Haven't heard of it. Is it? You said it was Shudder?
It's gonna be on Shudder here pretty soon, but there's no certified release date yet.
Oh, real quick, for any of the viewers who have Shudder and have not seen it, another gem that I saw in O'Fallon this summer that is a horror film that is sort of underrated. It's also on Blu-ray now. The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster is like very likely going to be in my top 25 movies of the entire year. That was phenomenal. You have to watch that movie. It's great.
Maybe soon I will.
Yeah.
I was
I
gonna
think
say
it's only like $10 on Amazon. It's not terrible.
maybe I'll grab it. I don't know. But
Yeah.
but yeah, Birth/Rebirth. I'm gonna be watching that here after a while because I looked at it on iTunes because that's how I usually rent my movies. I scrolled through recent discoveries. I clicked on that one. I saw it had like a 90 something percent on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, oh,
95.
95, and I was like,
Damn.
yep, I'm gonna check this out.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm gonna watch that one after a little while. And
put it on my list.
If it's actually really good, I might actually recommend it to you to watch before the end of the year.
I'll put it on my watch list. There's kind of a list of movies. So for those who are going to be new to my channel, every year when it gets to be the last week of December and the pickings are slim because the Christmas movies, and I'm done with the Christmas movie reviews for the year and the sort of Netflix stuff that comes out in the last week of the year, like White Noise and stuff. I will make sort of a list of movies that I will kind of off and on between like the January and like February when we do the best and worst stream. We'll go back to like I'll look in the release calendar and Box Office Mojo and like look for movies that I heard about that sounded interesting throughout the year from like January to like I don't know, like November that are on streaming now, and I'll make a list and watch them. And like I've gotten some of my best movies of the year from that, like 2020, my 2021 list. My number 10 was Supernova, which I hadn't even heard of, but I saw like the poster. I'm like, oh, it has Stanley Tucci in it. Yeah, and it got a good score. I'll put that down, and I loved it. So for those who review movies, I recommend that because you will find sort of hidden gems like lost in the streaming wilds that you maybe have never heard of.
I can tell you this though for next week because I pre-ordered it. Next week, I'm finally going to be able to watch Past Lives.
Thank God. My number 2 of the entire year.
You've been on my ass about that. You have been.
I have.
So.
You've seen my number 1 already. Now you need to see my number 2.
I've seen your number 1 and your number 3. Of an Age and 1001.
Oh, that's right. You did see that. Okay. I think you actually saw my whole top 5, actually. No,
I still haven't seen Suzume.
Suzume? Yeah.
I still haven't seen that one. It hasn't come to my theater, and it's not on digital yet.
Is that going to be on Blu-ray like early next year or something, maybe?
Probably. I don't know for sure, to be honest.
My number 5, I'm certain you saw, which is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. In fact, I'm pretty sure we have this. It's both our number 5s. So I think it's your number 5 also, isn't it?
No, it went down a little bit.
It went down a little bit. Are You There?
It's down at right as of right now on my list. It's down to number 13.
Oh wow!
Look, I haven't rewatched it, but it's like again, like the thing with me though is, even though like there are some movies I gave a 5 out of 5 to like earlier, like when I saw them, but sometimes I notice it's like I need to process them a little bit more. So, but and also kind of to slow down a little bit on the 5-star ratings for myself because sometimes I feel like I give too many of those.
Well, see, I reserve though. That's why I have sort of 2 slots where it's like the 5-star plus movies are the ones that I talk about at the end of the year. The 5-star ones are the runners up because the thing is that also I see on average. I think you and I among our group see the most movies in a year of anybody. You and I do. And even
I'm starting to catch up. So
well, but also like even I on average, just because I have no real life, I even you doing an impressive amount as you are. I think you still are about only 3/4 of the way to where I am most years. Because I've seen already almost 200 movies. By the next end of the month, it'll be close to that. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do is get. I mean, I'm gonna get there, of course, by the end of the year. Like, not even a question because of how many movies I've seen.
It's looking likely that I'm gonna beat my record of last year. My record last year was like 247 or 48, I think.
I had even though I've added some this year, though, I mean, but as of like right now, my 2022 list is 220.
Of the movies this year, I have seen every single movie that is played either in my main theater or my next main theater 25 minutes away, except for two movies. One I didn't complete because of technical difficulties, and one I didn't see because the 1 week it was at my theater, the one day I could see it, it was having technical difficulties. There was like a leak in the theater that they couldn't get the film to work, and I had to go to Utah for a premiere. So literally, it was. I didn't finish Psychopath's Providence. The power cut out and it couldn't be retrieved with like 15 minutes to go, and I didn't like it, but I didn't review it because I was like, I can't review this unless I've seen the whole thing. So I was just like, I just made a little blurb on Facebook like didn't finish it because of technical difficulties. I really am not that keen to go back and try. And then the one where I had to skip it, it was the first movie at least my main theater I hadn't seen since 2020. It's reopening from COVID was God is a Bullet with Jamie Foxx. It was there for like 1 week, and I heard it was terrible and it was really long. It was like 2 hours 45, and it got like a 15 on Rotten Tomatoes or something. And I was like, but I'll still go see it because I see everything. And the last day I could have seen it was like the Monday it was out at like 7, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. And they still couldn't get to work. I'm like, dude, tomorrow at like 11 a.m. I got to get ready to get on a plane and go to like, I'm taking like 3 planes from like St. Louis to Utah. Like I can't, like it's going to be a long day. So and then by the time I got back, I said, if it's in the week and a half that I come back, like 4th of July, by 4th of July week, if it's still there, I'll try to go see it. It was gone by that, that Friday. So it's like, well, fuck.
I was gonna say though, for me when I go to like last month when I got into the theater, it was mostly repeat viewing month for me because it was like there was nothing out, like because my theater didn't play Last Voyage of the Demeter and they didn't play Strays, so it was like repeat viewing.
Because those had pretty wide releases. That's actually kind of surprising.
They had them both on the coming soon list. I even talked to my friend Abby who works at the theater, and she said she was shocked that we didn't get Demeter since it was a scary movie. Like my town loves their scary movies.
Well, or Strays, because like Strays is like a mainstream all-star cast like comedy, big like budget studio movie.
And the weird thing is, like, they got No Hard Feelings, but they couldn't get Joyride or Strays.
Right. Which is
that was the weird thing.
Yeah. Which, like, no disrespect to No Hard Feelings, it was a good movie, but of those 3 movies, it was the least of them. But it was still a good movie.
But yeah, so like I saw Ninja Turtles 3 times. I saw Blue Beetle twice, and I saw Gran Turismo twice.
Also a good one.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Pleasant surprise.
That again, same thing with Cobweb. Gran Turismo is honestly one of those films. The more I think about it, the more I like it. Like,
well, here's the thing. I have my problems with Gran Turismo more than I did Cobweb, but it is kind of that situation where it's like there's a great joke from there was a review that Mark Kermode did of I think it was like Mamma Mia, where he was in the minority of people who like really liked it initially. And he talked about it, he saw it with his wife, and there was a moment where he goes, This is kind of like he's British, so he's like, this is kind of rubbish, isn't it? I mean, this is kind of cheesy or whatever. And she goes, then why are you crying? Then why are you crying, dummy? And it's like, that was kind of me with Gran Turismo, is my brain was telling me this was just a shameless corporate ad, but my heart was telling me, oh, but his dad loves him now. And I kind of,
dude, like I got a couple tears in my eyes the first time, but then the second time it was like, dude, it hit me hard.
There were some elements though that bothered me. Like I have to say, like the fact that one of the emotional highs, the manipulative emotional highs in the movie, involves a Sony product that is very clearly shown right at the camera. Like, oh, I got him a Walkman. It's like and freaking David Harbour's like, oh my god, like crying. It's the greatest thing I've ever got. Like, okay, come on, movie. You're making it really hard to immerse me. But like that aside, it does work. It's a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, like, and also I've talked to Jared and Frisky about this
Mm-hmm.
a little bit ago, or earlier today, actually, I should say. I'm actually gonna make that one the final watch along for 2023. Will be Gran
Okay.
Turismo.
Cool.
I'm gonna make that one the final one.
If it's on Netflix by then, I might join you.
It should be, to be honest with you. It probably should be, because I mean, when we did Bullet Train, like it actually came on Netflix fast enough. So
Mm-hmm. I know for a fact some movies that are like golden that I have to watch if I'm gonna make a mess of it. Like Anus Man is one. How to Blow Up a Pipeline is one. And the other thing is, it helps that I've seen the trailers for a lot of these movies with other movies. Like I saw both of those trailers first time with Infinity Pool. So like, I knew going into them, I need to see. There's some other one. I mean, I want to see the Starling Girl. I want to see like there's some just these movies that kind of came out and just kind of had no. I knew about them, but they weren't playing anywhere close to where I was, and it was in January or February, and they were good movies, but I just kind of missed them.
yeah, but I was gonna say, for the one that Jared recommended me, you should check out Sakura with Donnie Yen.
That was another one. Was that the one where it was like it had like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes? It was like a kung fu movie, right?
Yeah,
It
it's
was
a
like
kung fu movie.
wasn't it like the fourth part in a series though, or was that the oh that was like the roundup?
You're
That's
talking about the roundup. I was talking about Sakura.
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, that one was
For those,
really good. I also on Peacock recently. I checked out an animated film called Rally Road Racers.
that
Not
one,
bad.
that
That
one
one wasn't
came out.
bad.
So basically, in my area, we don't have like it's not a. I'm not quite in St. Louis. St. Louis, there's a theater on every corner, but it is not a. I've gone to St. Louis to see movies. Like first time I saw Bottoms, I went to the Draft House in St. Louis and at Cave the Tortured Crossing. Got to mention that. But like that was an experience I'll never forget. But most movies there's sort of three main theaters, one of which I've actually never been to, but usually that's because most of the movies that play there also play here in town. But there was I was there once. The Alton there's a theater in Alton called the NCG. There is the AMC in my town, and there's a Marcus Theater in O'Fallon. And usually the Marcus Theater will play a lot of the same stuff, but there's always every weekend there's like one or two movies that I've not heard of that are just like obscure. So I've seen some like real Discovery stuff for good and for ill. Like I saw The Baker there. I saw The Country Club there, which I'm happy to also say that that director's kind of a pal now. And that was also one of only like seven theaters in the country that was showing that movie before it like went on to streaming. So I saw that. Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, Slaughterhouse, like you see like the weird out there stuff that's only playing in a handful of Somewhere in Queens, which is on my best of list for the year. So those are like the main theaters, but a lot of them they overlap. But then like when I was on vacation in Utah, my cousin runs a theater that is sort of like in Utah, it's like Mormon country, so there's like there is a sort of this businessman down there who like has his own theater chain that has like theaters with like 20 screens, so they show like everything. So I saw the stuff that I needed to see. Like, well, actually, Ruby Gilman I saw at the AMC over there because we went as a whole family and I could use my points. But like, I saw Past Lives at that theater. I saw Everybody at that theater. Prisoner's Daughter, which like no one saw. It was okay. With Kate Beckinsale. Saw that on my trip. So yeah, I mean, go off the beaten path sometimes. Look for the weird little obscure movies, and you'll get a Cobweb sometimes. Or you'll get a Fool's Paradise too, which is not good. But
yeah, I know. But
get some turkeys in there. But
yeah, like I was saying though, the weird thing was though, when it came to Rally Road Racers, I saw the trailer for that when I went and saw Renfield,
and
I was like, "What?
yeah,
This looks bad." And then I watched it on Peacock, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
did that come out in like February or something, or like early in the year.
It came out the exact same weekend as Knights of the Zodiac and Fool's Paradise.
The reason
And
I bring
Hypnotic.
the reason I actually got to see that at my main theater because I guess was a wide release, but Rally Road Racers, I think it was playing in Alton. That was like one of the rare times where there was a little one that kind of fell through the cracks and only was playing there. I was considering it, but then at the same time, that weekend was so packed in, I was like, you know what? This looks like it'll hold up kind of okay inevitably when it's a babysitter for kids on it. But if it's good, I don't know if it's good or not. I just was like, what is this? Rally Road Racers. Is that the one where they're like little ferrets or something and they're race car drivers or like mice or something?
Yeah.
I never even saw it.
And Jimmy O Yang is the main voice in it. But the good thing is J.K. Simmons is in it.
J.K. Simmons is in everything, though. Like, J.K. Simmons is in everything, including some of the bad. He was in Rock Dog. Let's never forget. He was in.
At least that one was okay. Like, that wasn't too bad.
Okay, sure. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. I guess it was just kind of like it was exactly what I thought of. He's like, oh, it's a Rock Dog.
Like, it's there.
That dog sure was a rock dog, I guess. It's like that kind of movie where it's like Spirit Untamed. Yeah, that was a movie with a horse in it, and I saw it, even though I don't remember a damn thing. Next movie.
I don't remember anything about that one either.
But also, speaking of movies I saw at the O'Fallon Theater, Knights of the Zodiac, because that also didn't play in my local. Where I had the greatest freaking child audience ever in a movie.
That was so funny.
That freaking 8-year-old that said that, I'm like, you better be careful, young man. Eventually, you will grow up to become Grant, the movie and TV guy. Because that is exactly what I probably said to my sister when we saw Shark Boy and Lava Girl when I was 11. I was like, this is badass. Shut up.
Yeah, but I mean, also, let's see, what's another, like, I'm just gonna say, you're lucky that your local theater played Blood and Honey, because if they didn't play it, you would have to go to the O'Fallon Theater, and you'd be like, hell no.
Okay, but here's the thing. The O'Fallon Theater would still be packed, because it actually did play there. Here's the thing. Well,
no, but I was saying if your local theater didn't play Blood and Honey. Like,
right. Oh, right. Because then I wouldn't have gotten the friend of the word. Though I wouldn't have my friend who works there who'd give me his employee discount for my ticket. That's right. Yeah, it played for like one night. I don't even think it got like the extra. Maybe like it had one other. It was a Fathom Events thing, so it was one night, and then I think like one afternoon, like later that week. So I went to the Wednesday one. That was a weird week because that was the week that I went to see that movie. It was terrible. I went to bed, and I woke up to the invite from Focus Features saying like, hey, you're Grant the movie and TV guy. Want to see our movie Of an Age for early and for free at your local art house? I'm like, well, when is it? It's like, it's today at 7:00. I'm like, fuck. Like, yeah, sign up. And I already was seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, so I literally went from my theater seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp in IMAX to having my aunt essentially pick me up and drop me off all the way in St. Louis, like in like Ant-Man and the Wasp was a Marvel movie, so it was over 2 hours. But the thing is, it was at like 3 p.m. So by the time I got there, that was a weird day. But I got to see the best movie I've seen all year and one of the worst in like the same like 24-hour period.
Yeah, and
what a weird February can be weird sometimes, yo.
Yeah, but I know you don't really need to repeat it on this, but I still freaking love that experience, like at the end of the movie.
Oh, Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, like, you raped my childhood!
For the two people who don't know, yeah, that was one of the... Well, first and foremost, the interaction started... it was kind of testing the waters. This is like, are people actually into this or not? Because it was kind of one of those here and there, but it was a lot of, like, dead silence. And then there's one moment where the kid in front of me who became one of my like newfound friends, there's a part where like Winnie the Pooh gets punched and he like literally hits him. It's like one of those scenes that you see in like a comedy where someone punches somebody and their head doesn't swing back. It like they take the punch perfectly, where it's like they hit him at like it would be like if
it's like a tough guy at a bar, basically. Like,
well, it's like something like in the first Spy Kids. I think there was like a scene where like Carmen punched a guy, hit him in the head, and it didn't phase him, and she's like, "Oh crap!" and she started running. Like, is that kind of thing? So he punches Winnie the Pooh, and he like just kind of, and then he goes, "Oh, he ate that shit," and people just burst out laughing. And so at the end, like, stupid, pointless movie ends. Credits roll over Pooh's stupid ass face. Fuck off. How can you be cheap and stupid and also pretentious all at the same time? Like, fuck that movie.
this is basically like Grant. This is basically his face.
Yeah. And the thing rolled up, and people was like, ah, and just started laughing. And the guy said, "You raped my childhood!" And I turned to freaking Ryan and Daniel. I'm like, "Do you guys dare me?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I just said, I stood up and I went, "Fuck this movie!" And everyone was like, lost it. And then the dude who said it before, like, "What that guy said? Fuck this movie!" And then I yelled out, "Oh, bother! Oh, fucking bother!" And everyone just, that also happened recently. I was at Slaughterhouse, which was actually a fun bad movie. That was actually a fun. Well, because that movie actually wasn't even that bad. It knew what it was doing. It was a comedy. It was very funny. But there's a moment in it where, because it was in O'Fallon. It was like a packed theater, and I was there with my buddy Sarah. And there's a scene where, not with Austin, her boyfriend, because he sadly had to work, so she kind of went with me. Even though Austin, if you're watching, you totally would like Slaughterhouse when it's on screen.
That would be his Terrifier 2 of the year, basically.
No, apparently his number one is probably going to be Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, because he wants to sway me.
Fuck off, man.
So, he liked that movie, I don't get it. But anyway, in Slaughterhouse, there's a scene where it's like, it's paying homage like, here's Johnny. And at that point, the movie had won me over. Like I said, there was a turn the movie takes. The first 15 minutes, I said something to the extent of Sarah, like, it was all the sorority girls going, like, "Oh my god, I'm a mean girl. Oh my god." And I turned to Sarah, I'm like, "I'm losing the will to live. You gotta keep me in my chair. I'm gonna leave." Like, I was like getting really angry. Like I already fucking hate this. It was at a 0. And then slowly, once the movie went, like 1, 2, 3, and then like all of a sudden, there's this shot of like this character who's like a really comically, and it's supposed to be funny, like lesbian stereotype, and she's sitting by the pool, or they are sitting by the pool. I think they're non-binary, but they're sitting by the pool, and it's like, "Man, that sloth you got is awesome," or something. And there's the sloth, and it's like a really bad puppet, and it's wearing like a freaking like a boa, and like a pink boa, and like a tiara, and like a sash, like a sorority sash, like a Miss Universe thing. And then it takes out like a Corona, and it's like one, and then it used to like, holds up the Corona, holds up its one little claw, pops the top off, and chugs it. And I was just like, "Oh, 4. Like, but then this was the part. So they're doing like the Shining homage, and the girl is standing by the door, the dumbass who the movie knows she's dumb. Like, the movie acknowledges it. And the busts the hand through the door, and it's like the little claws, and she's like, "Ah," and then like starts walking over, kind of, and then the sloth takes its 2 little claws and goes like this, like, "Come on," like kind of gesturing her to come over, like through the door, and it's like blood dripping from the talons, like, "Come over." And I said, "Sarah, do you dare me?" And she said, "Yeah." And I shouted out, I was just like, "Run, bitch, run!" And people lost it. Like, in the shorty voice of Scary Movie, and people just lost it.
"Run, bitch, run!"
Well, and then there was another part that the guy next to me had the best comment where, like, she takes, like, the back toilet seat, like, cover. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the back part of the toilet, like, the cover of the top, right?
Yeah.
She's gonna use it to hit the sloth with. She's holding it, and they're kind of, like, creeping through the darkened room or whatever, looking for the sloth. And he said it before it could even pop into my head. He goes, like, it's styrofoam. I was like, yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. Speaking on that kind of experience, again, when I saw The Nun 2 last week with Justin,
now that was just a bad movie.
Dude, when basically Tyson Farmiga was knocked unconscious at one point in the movie because of that really bad looking vision that was in it with obviously the nun. When she was just unconscious and Stormy was just pulling her up. I literally wanted, like, I was thinking about turning to Justin and being like, "Do you dare me to?" And I was just gonna say, and then I was just gonna say, and be like, "Wake up, bitch!" Like, like I wanted to do that so badly because I wanted to get the audience to laugh. But anytime there was a jump scare, I'd be like, "Boo, bitch!" Like,
I love the fact that when we read the Nun 2, first off, it's Justin, right? Your friend.
Yeah, Justin.
Who gave me a follow on Instagram. Thanks, buddy. I think I also did that. Who we kind of scared off early on because we just kind of dominated and I felt bad about it.
Yeah,
but, our review went from actually criticizing the Nun to just evolving into nun-based puns for why we didn't like the movie. We want none more of this. This is a bad habit that needs to be broken.
This is a nun habit. Like,
yeah, basically. I want none of this.
But I was gonna say, before I actually got you to meet him, I actually did tell him a little bit about you. Like,
yay!
With and I did obviously tell him about the thing he did for the Angry Grant show, and like I showed him I actually showed him the sound effect for it when you did with the review on Spinning Gold that you did with Ryan, like because you used your phone and it was the perfect quality for it. Like, before we begin, do the thing. And then Ryan was just cracking up.
Oh, like, sound effect. Wait, you mean this sound effect? Fuck you. That one? Yeah, that's my angry Grant.
Lie, man. That sound effect never gets old. Like,
if you want to see me, man, for those also I'm on Letterboxd. Follow me, won't you? If you look, I actually have a ranked list of the worst movies. Look for my number 1. Go to the review of it, and you will see, like, Nefarious, I think, is the one this year. Oh, absolutely is the one. Neo-Nazi propaganda movie. You will watch me slowly, like, lose my freaking mind. Just over 15 minutes. Like, this movie's evil. I want to punch the person who made it. Like, you will see some of the... Spinning Gold was a good one. Spinning Gold was a good one because I could share in my misery. I think the other thing is, what's significant about Spinning Gold is that the first reactions after the movie at the theater were almost as long as the review. It was like a 10-minute reaction, and it was literally just me going like, I don't even know where to fucking start. And I was just like, looking like I need a drink. And Ryan said it, and he says, dude, I gotta be honest with you, I wanted to bail in the first 15 minutes. I'm like, dude, here's how bad this movie was. I said, you were my ride home. You could have left me there, and I would have understood. I wouldn't have even been mad. It was that bad. I feel bad. I said, and my good sir, you deserve a medal for sticking through all 2 hours and 22 fucking minutes of that movie. Which also,
oh god,
if you want to leave
so
when
bad.
it's over, also for those watching, if you want to leave before it's over and stick it to the end, well, guess what? There are scenes during the credits. And there are like 4 scenes after the credits. It does not let you go home until the lights come up. It is like, it goes on and on and on. The credits are like 15 minutes. The credits are long for like a movie like this.
It was
it was a
bad.
And we watched the whole damn thing, and I'll tell you what a piece of shit. Like, really, like, what an evil piece of shit. Like, it's not even bad in a funny way. It's bad in a these people should burn in hell kind of way. It's the nefarious levels of bad.
Basically, yes. And also, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
because when I was looking through your the videos, like when I looked on your Back on the Strip review, which by the way, I get why you say it. I get your points. I'm not gonna say too much, but I saw that there was another comment in there, and I was like, oh, who could this person be?
Well, it was
the person just criticizing your sound. I had to be your backup for that one.
I know, but here's the thing. I kind of get where they're coming from because sometimes my connection can be kind of shitty. It is difficult to watch a video where there's constant static interference. Like I wasn't hurt by that. I was like, I actually felt kind of bad. I was like, oh, I'm really sorry, actually, because I kind of get it. That's kind of shitty when you're trying to watch a video.
But at the same time, I kind of had to be your backup for that because it was like, that's not his fault.
But in that instance, also, like, thank you for that. But in that instance, it wasn't like nefarious where they were doing it. They were being nice about it. Whereas nefarious, the criticism was, you didn't like this movie I liked, therefore I want to like come to your house and shoot you. I want you to dox yourself. When that happened, Becca was a superhero. She came in on every comment and made a
like you got death threats for that. Like
maybe not death. I didn't get like death threats, but I got people whose profile pictures were guns getting really profane and vulgar and like violent about it. And like there was one person who said, this is probably my favorite comment. I actually put some of them up on Twitter. And yes, I'm gonna call it Twitter. I don't care. It's not X, it's Twitter. Fuck you, Elon Musk. In more ways than just that. But was one of them said something like, hey buddy. And this one I was almost tempted to respond. I didn't respond to any of like the negative ones. Becca did it for me, but I was so tempted. There was one part who said, hey there, pal. Has all that liberal virtue signaling finally got you laid yet, or what? Which is like, first and foremost, I don't care about getting laid. That's actually my opinions. I don't like the philosophy of the people who made that. But I was so tempted to be like, nope, still not getting any, just to like get the last laugh on him.
Like I would just do that just to be a smart. Like I would have just done just to be a smart ass. Like, but at the same time, it's like I feel like one of these days, whenever I get another like one of those types of comments, I know it wouldn't really be April Fool's, but I would basically be Walter from Jeff Dunham and be like, well, April Fool's, dumbass. Like
there was one negative comment I got on someone else's video that I couldn't help but respond to because I had to. Because they took the time. It was the most creative insult I've ever heard. I wasn't even mad. I was like, that is impressively shitty.
It was still for nefarious, right?
No, it wasn't for nefarious. This was long before. This was like when I was first like starting out my channel. It was on the trailer for Nobody. Honestly, I think they might have taken the whole comment section down just because of that one guy. But when Nobody was coming out. And I posted on the trailer something to the extent of, I saw this tonight, I really liked it. And I did. It was on my best of list in 2021. But I said, like, I really liked this movie a lot. And then some dude said, like, well, good sir. Like, literally said it like this. Well, good sir. Fuck you, and fuck the parents that spawned you in the back of a Volkswagen, or a Honda Civic. And I was just like, wow.
That's a bit harsh.
Like... And I couldn't help it. I was like, that is amazing. That is like the most amazing, like, asshole comment I've ever gotten. So I literally went in there and I said, ... how did you know? How did you know my origin? And like, I got a lot of likes on that one. I was like, Oh yeah.
Also, really quick, I also wanted to point out the last part of the Blood and Honey story that you told me when Austin came in.
Okay, yeah. Chuckle Fucks McGee.
He was like, did you love it? Did you like it? It was like, let's do the role play. Like,
Austin, or as I affectionately now call him, Chuckle Fucks McGee for that incident.
So yeah, we'll do the role play. Did you like it? It was awesome, wasn't it?
Like, it was awesome. Did you like it? And I was just like, looked over at him, and I literally was giving him a look like, I said, like, you better turn around, and he's like, did you like it? Like, did you like it? And I was just like, Austin? He goes, yeah. Like, go fuck yourself. He's like, wow. And I just went, whoa. And I said, just don't talk to me for a while. I need a minute.
That's honestly, dude. if one of my friends walks in like and says that, like, did you like it? It was really good. And if I hated it, I'd be like, go fuck yourself, because that was shit.
Ben got the business end of my anger at Back on the Strip. I don't know if I've told you this story yet or not either.
No, you haven't told me this one.
Ben was ushering. He was gonna see it with me, but he had to work suddenly. And I knew it was gonna be bad, and he was like, "Oh, I'll go see it with you." But then he had to bail because he was ushering. And I went to a late show. Like the show I went to, because it was the only day my theater showed it, but they showed it for like once at like 10:30.
Wasn't it like the 10 o'clock showing? It was the same day you saw Blue Beetle. Like,
well, yeah, like Blue Beetle was good.
that was actually good shit there. Like,
I saw Blue Beetle and Riff Tracks Live Rad that day, and then that's how late in the day it was.
And then you saw Back on the Shit.
Back on the Shit at like 10:30, and I got out, and the movie is all of 2 hours long. I had to call an Uber. Do you know how much of a pain in the ass it is to have to call an Uber to take you home from a movie theater at 1 in the damn morning because your friend is closing up, so he still has an hour and a half left on his shift? Like, so I saw that movie, and nobody was in the theater. Nobody, not only in my theater, anywhere. It was the end of the night. It was one of the last shows of the day. I was there by myself. Other than parceling out the leftover popcorn for the workers to take home, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. Nobody was buying tickets. But he had to work. He had to work in case someone had to go through Barbie at 12:30, like 4 weeks into its run. So, which I was a couple times, so like I can't really complain about that. But it was at a moment where, because the movie's all of 2 hours. It's an hour 59. It's too fucking long for that movie. So I got out at like 1 in the morning. As the movie was going, there was like a moment, and it was like 40 minutes into the movie when they finally decide to have a plot. Like, we're gonna get the band back together. We're gonna like. It's basically what, for those who don't know, Back on the Strip is basically Black Magic Mike, but if you took out everything that made the Magic Mike movies actually good, that's that movie.
Yeah.
So there's a moment where, and it's a movie from 2023 that has a white character wearing bronzer because he's supposed to be playing a black masked figure named Dr. X. And there is a running narration by Tiffany Haddish, who is the mother of our young hero, talking about how impressive his cock is.
But yeah. now that kind of thing sounds like total bullshit to me.
It is, like, and there's a very, also, surprise, wait the whole movie, even though it's never brought up. Like, I want to hook you up with an old friend of mine, and it's Wesley Snipes. I'm like, it's his real dad. It's his real dad. When are you going to reveal that it's his real dad? And then Tiffany Haddish says, you left town. He goes, I was pregnant. And I was just like, he's your real dad. 5 minutes later, what are you talking about? He's your real dad. What are you saying? He's your real dad. Honey, he's your real dad. Thank you. Fuck. Okay. So there was a moment that was like 40 minutes in. I was sitting there just miserable. And I was already texting him like, you motherfucker. I was like, you left me here to see this by myself. Fuck you. Like, I was just like texting him like you better when I come out of this theater, you better be on your shift. You better not be in the lobby, damn it. I was like really angry. I was just like, and because it was 40 minutes in, and it was around the time they were going to pick back up the guy who's Dr. X to go bring the band back together. And he came in, and he, again, smiles. Is it worse than Fall? And I stood up in the theater. It was the only one there. And I said, you get the fuck out of this theater right now. You either get the fuck out and do your job, or you come in here and do this with me, damn it. And he goes, I'm working. I'm like, fuck you. I just got so angry. And he was like egging me on. And then it comes in, and then it comes apart. He goes, and it was the white guy. And he's like, I'm Dr. X. And he goes, did he just say I'm Dr. X? He goes, yeah, he did. I'm like, fuck! Gotta get back to work. I'm like, hey.
I couldn't imagine how that would be if I, like, next time I see like a really, really shitty movie, and then one of the employees comes in and is like, hey man, you good? I'd be like, and I'd be like, dude, you better get the fuck out of here before I start smashing shit.
Well, especially when I'm friends with these people. Like, okay, here's the thing. I'm starting to believe that they are making a concerted effort when they know that I'm seeing a bad movie, sending people in to fuck with me. Because when I saw Spinning Gold, something like that happened. Me and Ryan were seeing it, and literally Dan and his girlfriend came, and they did it on purpose because he was like smirking when he was walking out, and he came in and he's just like, he said out loud, "Oh, sweetie," it's like this isn't Dungeons and Dragons, and I was like, they're like, oh, it's like, oh, hey Grant, hey Ryan, I'm like, hey, and I just like left, and he's just like, he goes, what's up? Like, we were both like pissed, and they just left, and he goes, all right, we'll see you later. I'm like, and then after they were almost out of earshot, I just said, yeah, fucker, have fun at your good fucking movie. We'll just still be here watching this bullshit. Excellent.
Bro, like, but like, even though there was kids in the theater, when I saw Meg 2: The Trench, like, honestly, dude, you want to? Like, I want to do the same thing. Like, anytime that anybody was speaking a word of dialogue, I want to be like, Durr!
If you watched, okay, you know how they have like security cameras in movie theaters, so they like someone will be like, eventually we'll watch the tapes. If you watch the tapes and you weren't there with me, like, for all I know, it was probably Ben, you would think that I'm watching these two people slowly lose their mind. Because, like, when we were in the Dolby watching that, it was packed, and people were liking it. Like, we were the only ones in the theater who were, like, giggling at it, although the guy next to me kind of was in on it. He's like, say more funny shit. But there came a point where out loud, and it was a loud theater, it was a Dolby, but we were like, Durr, 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 durr. They just kept going out loud. And then there was a moment where, and I hate these people who did this, I was out of my own body. I had lost my mind. Like, it was so dull that I actually lost my mind. I broke my own kind of code of conduct and started being that annoying guy at the movie because I just couldn't take it anymore. I had to. If I would have gotten my ass kicked probably in some cases, and it would have been justified, but I just did not care in that moment. I lost it. I was just like,
Durr. It was the same thing with The Nun too. Like, I mean,
Durr.
I never usually like being that annoying guy in the theater, but it was just for that time.
I never am.
It was so bad. I was like, fuck it.
Durr. And then one woman looked at me in like the climax after like the 700th Durr, and just kind of looked over at me and Ben, like, kind of giving us this look like not angry, but just like, are you fucking serious? Like, do you need help? Like, what are you doing? Like, that, not angry, just kind of like, why the fuck do you keep doing that? Like, that kind of look of like just confused annoyance, like what the fuck? And I just kind of looked over and I'm like, Durr. She's like, she just kind of looked away. We lost our minds. I'm telling you. And then we started doing the Durrs in different voice styles for different characters. So like, when the black dude was like, Durr, motherfucker, we just started saying shit, and then like the girl on the freaking evil influencer chick, when she should have been like, and her boyfriend, her like muscly hairy boyfriend, were like, Durr, Durr. They're doing it. And then,
like, you were still fucking with them by that time, like,
oh my god.
Durr?
We weren't even aware we were doing it. We just started going loopy, and he's just like, and then Ben's like, we're gonna get kicked out of here. I'm like, Durr, 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 Durr. Like, we were just, we couldn't. I think the movie made us dumber in the moment. I think we went full Simple Jack somewhere about 30 minutes into that movie, and we just kept going. I just kind of lost it. Like,
yeah.
I think that was, you know how they say that your brain will do things that will, as a defense mechanism to keep you from like actually committing society.
Yeah.
Like, it'll make you like it'll turn your feelings of angry, violent aggression towards something you hate into stupidity to protect you from making you go crazy in a normal way and not in a scary way. I think that's what my brain was doing during Meg 2, is it went from, I hate everybody, I want to find Jason Statham's address, I want to fight, fuck, and it went to, dur, 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 because I started losing my mind. I was just like...
Yeah, like, honestly, bro, I want to be, like, honestly, even though there was this family that was sitting in front of me, like when the credits were rolling, like they were still standing in the hall, like in that part of the hallway in the theater. I literally wanted to stand up, not lying to you, wanted to stand up and go, fuck you!
Yeah, really.
Like that loud.
You know that episode of Family Guy where Peter Griffin goes to Ireland to find his drunken Irish dad?
Yeah.
And they get into the drinking contest, and they're both so drunk that they talk like, and it's like subtitled. And they'll say like, I'm actually normal for people like me, and they get like intellectual, but they're drunk, so all you see is blah, 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 and it just says unintelligible. Okay, so when I turned to that lady and said like, dur, 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 what it translated to is, fuck you, lady, there's a better movie next door. Go watch that. If it was subtitled, it would have been that.
Let me guess. The movie next door. Let me guess. The movie next door was Mutant Mayhem.
Mutant Mayhem, or if we were in another theater, Shortcomings, because that also came out that weekend and nobody saw it.
But
except me and Ryan, we both really liked it. It's another one.
That's something there, man. Like seriously.
It was like my brain turned to pudding. I couldn't fathom how bad it was. I was in a defense mechanism like, this is going to, it's almost like my brain said, I have to turn you into a loopy, annoying, dumb babbler so that you can see good Jason Statham movies from now on without feeling like you've been raped. Like, I think it was like my brain telling me like, if you try to watch Crank again, you're going to feel a cold chill down your back, and you're going to start having sweats. Like, you need to... This is going to protect you.
You gotta watch something like Crank.
Oh, well, Crank was a good movie. It was a good freaking movie.
It's batshit crazy, but it's so good.
Like, here's the thing. You know why it broke my heart, and I think also broke my brain, is I like Jason Statham. I don't want him to
Same
be
thing
in
with
this.
me, dude.
Yeah, it's like, he's way too good for this, and he knows it. And it broke my heart to see it. It's like looking at a scared puppy with an injured leg on the side of the road. Like, you just want to go pull your car over and just pick the puppy up and say, "It's okay, buddy. I'll get you some kibbles and bits and some cold water. It'll be okay." Jason Statham looks so bored.
Like, he was just like, "Oh."
I love that dude. I really love Jason Statham.
I do not know what just happened.
Your computer broke because it actually liked Meg 2 The Trench, and it was there the night that I saw it, and it's mad at me.
Oh my god.
Shutting down the feed in protest of our negative opinion of this movie.
Like, it was just like, fuck you, you don't like Meg 2? I'm shutting him down.
Like, all right, Mr. Taylor, you've for the week, you have officially, allotted your amount of DERs for this one cast. Yeah, it's time to...
Exactly, dude. It was just wanting to just tell you that, and I was just like, bro, fuck off. Like,
I haven't gotten that loopy. I think that I'll say this. I'll tell you this for a fact. I hate annoying moviegoers. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. When I was middle school age, my memory is foggy. I probably was as annoying as most 12-year-olds are at the movies with their friends. I'm just gonna be real about it.
Oh yeah, did I tell you the story about what happened on like the second time I saw Blue Beetle?
Okay.
So there was like a group of like 5, 6, or 7 kids. Like they're like about probably around the same age as you would say, like around 12-year-olds. And it was just me and Justin, and then those kids. So at one point, one of them pulled out their phone and used their phone flashlight on me. And we turned around for a second, and we were like, "Really, fuckhead?"
There's only one time where I will give you a pass.
Oh yeah, and also after that light was off, guess what I did?
What? Flipped him the bird. Yeah.
I wasn't even looking. I was not even looking.
You give them the freaking Thurman Merman from the last scene of Bad Santa, the most satisfying ending to any movie ever. You've seen Bad Santa?
Just do that. Like I just do that without even looking. Like I'm just like.
You've seen Bad Santa, right, Luke?
Of course, I love Bad Santa.
Great movie, love that fucking movie. So the ending of that movie.
What the fuck's your problem, man? He's just a kid. Fuck you, Willie.
I even liked Bad Santa 2. There, I said it.
That one was okay. That one was okay.
Like, is he your spawn? Like, why would you think that? He goes, well, if that ain't fetal alcohol poisoning, what the fuck is it? Thurman Merman. First off, greatest character name of any movie ever. Thurman Merman. But Thurman Merman, that kid's hilarious. And the scene at the very end. Good night, Santa. Good night, Mrs. Santa's sister. The ending of that movie, the very end, where like he's in jail, but like, and what's her name? Lorelai Gilmore is taking care of Thurman Merman, and the bully tries to steal, making all the fat jokes, calling him lard ass, and is trying to take his bike again. He just knees him in the freaking nads and just like gets on the bike. He's like, and they start playing like dun 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 dun. And then he's like, ugh, and the second he looks up, like holding onto his crotch, like looking up, there's just Thurman Merman riding the bike away, flipping him off, just with one hand and the other hand riding the bike. I'm like, hell yeah!
Yeah.
Thurman Merman is the man.
For sure, man.
Speaking of underrated Christmas movies with that actor in it, Unaccompanied Minors. That movie's actually kind of alright.
That's a funny movie.
It is. It's underrated. The girl who played the girl in that who kicks Chris Rock in the nads, young Chris Rock.
You mean Tyler James Williams?
Yeah. The one who kicks it. She is a director. She directed Not Okay, which was an honorable mention on my list of the best movies of 20.
That's a good movie.
It is.
It's a good movie.
It's good. Have you seen? Okay, you know Drew Gooden, right? The YouTuber.
Yeah.
Have you seen his video on sequels that aren't sequels, where he talks about Kindergarten Cop 2 with Dolph Lundgren, which is awful, but he talks about it, the product placement, and they're like I think it was like Kit Kats or Snickers or something, and he's like, is that a Snickers? He goes, it's good candy bar. It's like one of the henchmen, and then it comes to Drew Gooden, he goes, Snickers. It's good candy bar.
That's funny.
So before we call it a night, because it's getting late,
yeah.
If you want something other than the two movies I recommend to watch, other than Meg 2, if you want to know what my top 10 are real quick, number 10 is Bottoms. Number 9 is Oppenheimer. Number 8 is Barbie. Yes, I put them together for a reason. Number 7 is Nimona. Number 6 is Asteroid City. Number 5 is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. 4 is Sesame. 3 is 1001. 2 is Past Lives. 1 is Of an Age. Those are all movies you should be watching before you even see a millisecond of Meg 2 The Trench.
Oh yeah, the same thing with these ones for my top 10 again.
Mm-hmm.
This one's my top 3 kind of switched a little bit because those are like the most interchangeable ones. But my top 4 also could be a number 1 any other week.
My top 5 could be a number 1 on any day of the week for me.
So yeah, for me it would be number 10 is Across the Spider-Verse.
Good pick.
Number 9 would be Scream 6.
Also good.
Number 8, Blue Beetle. Number 7, You Hurt My Feelings.
That is my number 11.
So damn good.
It really
coincidentally enough, we have the same number 6, Asteroid City.
Hell yeah.
Love that movie.
Can't wake up if you don't fall asleep, Luke.
You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep, Grant.
I don't think that's true. You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep.
You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep.
Can't wake up if you don't fall asleep.
I love that movie. Number 5, yeah, John Wick Chapter 4.
You know how good this year has been, Luke? I think that's like my number 33. It's a 5-star plus movie. Do not get me wrong. I love that movie. I've seen it twice already. But yeah.
So good.
Love it.
Number 4, woohoo! You know.
Yeah.
You know.
It's not on my list, but I love
Mario Brothers movie.
I enjoyed it.
So good. I mean, definitely, honestly, for me, I would definitely say the best video game movie.
Like, it's a lot of fun. it's missing a story. That is all I will say. There's not really much of a story there. It's mostly a lot of it's 90 minutes of Mario Easter eggs, but that's fine. For that,
But have you played the Mario games though?
I have, and I.
You should then honestly you should expect that there's not going to be a great story because none of the Mario games really have that great of stories.
I don't think it's the best video game movie though. I think the best video game movie is the only video game movie I've ever given 5 stars to, which was Werewolves Within. Is the best video game movie. But that's
another subject for another time.
Yeah.
Number 3. Again, this switched a little bit. Right now, my number 3 is Oppenheimer.
Great movie.
Number 2, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
What's your number 1 then? I honestly don't know.
It's Mutant Mayhem.
Really? Now, see,
that one switched, dude. I love Mutant Mayhem. Like,
maybe I need to see it a second time. Because the thing is, I really liked it. I think I gave it 5 stars. But I couldn't really go plus with it, kind of for the same reason with Mario, which is that it's like, there's just not much of a story there. And there's not a lot of character there. It's a lot of fun. But I didn't
really feel like, I didn't feel like that. I think there was actually a little bit more of a better story on the hands this time around because it was actually like it wasn't just a story about the turtles just trying to stop Superfly from trying to rule the planet with just basically making all the mutants rule the Earth. It's also kind of a coming of age story with the turtles.
I'll give you that. I think Ninja Turtles has more of a story than Mario does. But what I'll say about my issue with, and they're making a sequel, God willing, so hopefully that is
yes.
That hopefully they'll do better. Is that it's funny, it's a good adaptation of that character. There's some good gags in it. My biggest issue is that I think is the other really terrific Ninja Turtles have that this one doesn't is a real sense of the family bond of the Turtles and Splinter. I felt like that was kind of by the wayside in this one for the sake of like energy and animation and quick-paced humor. They kind of at the expense of the heart of it. But I still liked it. I just thought...
And another thing is, though, the reason why... Like, my argument towards that is because they wanted to focus it more, obviously, on the Turtles and their relationship together, like, basically as brothers.
Right. No, I get the reason. I'm just saying that, like, I feel like if I was there with the filmmakers, the first thing I would say to them is, like, hey, guys, look, great start. Now, when you do the sequel, if I can give you one tip, the sequel, you should have a little, like, kind of like what they did with Into this Across the Spider-Verse, which is make it more character-driven along with the fast pace of the animation. It can be done. I've seen it be done before. So just try a little harder at making the story a little more, have a more of an emotional core to it. But it worked. I liked it. I ultimately really liked it. I will also say this. It kind of continues the renaissance of an actress that I've kind of come to really love, which is Ayo Edebiri, who has really come into her own between The Bear, Theater Camp, one of my top 10 of the year bottoms, and she also was in like Ninja Turtles, Across the Spider-Verse, and Black Mirror. Like, she's having a great, and What We Do in the Shadows. She's having a great year, so really rooting for that actress. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, and like I said, dude, Seth Rogen's having a hell of a year. So
yeah, he really is.
What you looking at, punk? Yeah, bro, what you looking at?
I know that he gets a lot of shit. Like, there's been a lot of backlash about like the types of movies Seth Rogen makes and how they're all the same. Like, I don't give a shit. I love Seth Rogen, and I love Seth.
And
Rogen.
some people saying like about Mutant Mayhem that there's too much humor. I don't give a fuck.
I don't think there's too much.
I like that change. Like where it's not just Michelangelo just being the wisecracker for the comedy. It's all of the Turtles.
I don't think it's that there's too much humor. I think the humor is necessary. All the Ninja Turtles movies have humor. My issue is more, it almost feels like a 2-hour, a very well-made, huge budget. The plot of it feels very much like, the production value is theatrical level, but the plot to me felt a little bit like, this would be a really good, like, 2-hour episode of the Ninja Turtles cartoon on Nickelodeon. Whereas I feel like the raw materials are there for more of a movie type story with like actual emotional depth that they just kind of barely miss. I feel like the sequel will do that better. I feel like they have a roadmap now. They've proven that it works and that people will love, critics will, and audiences will love a Ninja Turtles movie together. Now they just need to add some depth this time. That's all I'm saying. I still really love the movie.
Yeah, and I'm not going to give you too much shit for it, to be honest with you. I'm not going to give you too much shit, because it's like...
I do think, though, if someone is saying, like, I don't think there's too much humor, I think some jokes, they do run a little bit into the ground. One thing I will say is, well, not even most jokes, one joke, which is the milking thing. I think the first couple times they do it, I'm like, that's funny, I get it.
That shit cracked me up, man. I'm not going to lie.
And it's off-color, like, it catches you off guard, because it's like, oh, they're going to milk me, and he goes... I don't even think they'll be able to find, or, you know, it's like, oh, I don't even think we have nipples, though. Or, like, that was kind of funny. But then...
And, oh, yeah, you want to know something funny? Really quick?
Yeah.
When I saw it the second time with my buddy Tanner, I actually, when they said milking, like, when they were actually being milked for their blood,
yeah.
I actually turned to Tanner and I was like, I have nipples, Tanner, could you milk me? Like,
yeah,
because I had to do the Fokker joke.
Right. What I'm saying though is that the first 2 times that was kind of funny. The seventh time in the first hour that they did it, I was like, okay, guys, chill with that one joke. We get it. It's kind of ridiculous. We get it. It's off color and it's silly. Okay, cool. Moving on. Let's do a different joke now. It's okay. So that one, I'm like, yeah, too many of those. I even turned to Ben when we watched him, like, how many times have they made the same joke about milking the turtles? Like, dude, it's been like 8 times. I'm like, it's not even half over. I'm like, yeah, it's been like 8 times. I'm like, yeah. It's like just a little too much.
Again, I'm not going to try to be too hard on you for that one because I mean, I'll face it.
You gotta give me
you enjoyed it.
Maybe a couple times too many.
But I mean,
yeah. I mean, it was funny. It was funny the first couple.
I loved it though, man. Like I can't lie, man. I mean,
so
again, it's just like I said. My top 3 are the most interchangeable. Like those are the ones where it's like they could all be number 1 like any day. Like honestly, like on the right day. So like today, like again, just thinking about it more and more. That's when I decided to put Ninja Turtles at number 1.
Yeah, I guess
because that was one of the most because again, just like Mario, I saw that one in theaters 3 times. And it was like. But the thing was, the reason why I have that one higher than Mario is not only because I enjoy my time with it more. It's mostly because I saw it 3 times faster than what I did with Mario. Like I saw it 3 times like quicker.
Yeah.
Because when I saw Mario, I saw that, then did 2 more movies, which was Air and Renfield,
which
and
are
then
great.
saw that one again, and then did Evil Dead, and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and then Mario.
No. My thing, okay, first and foremost, the only movie I've seen first run more than twice was this year, and that was Barbie. Now, keep in mind, that's only my number 8. So, which again, like, I'm seeing it a 4th time. I'm seeing it next Thursday when it's in IMAX, but I love Barbie. I clearly love Barbie. That's why I've seen it 3 times in the theaters, and I know all the words to I'm Just Ken. I love that movie. But I feel like Barbie is maybe my most rewatchable movie on my list. But it's not my favorite. It's not the best.
It's not the one that like hit you the most. Like,
right. It's not the best movie I've seen all year, but I get it. I understand why knowing your taste and the way your lists go, Ninja Turtles is your number 1. I totally get that. Because that one, rewatchability is a big factor in what your number 1 is.
Yes, that was the... Mm-hmm. That was also kind of why I was tempted to put the Black Phone at number 1 for last year, but then I forgot how much the impact was for Top Gun. So that's why I left that as number 1.
Yeah, if it wasn't Top Gun, I would have been actually kind of baffled. At that point in the year, like, it was always going to be Top Gun, I think. Just knowing you and knowing...
It is number 1, like, for the longest time, and then Like the Black Phone at one point was giving a competition, and then like the last time I rewatched Top Gun, I was like, no, this is number one.
They're both really good. I mean, they're both really good movies. So I mean, I wouldn't have complained no matter what if they were. But I just yeah, I liked the movie a lot. I don't want to sound like I'm down on Ninja Turtles. I just think that it's just a smidge overrated, just a smidge, just a little bit. I like it though. It's kind of weirdly the way I felt about Top Gun last year. I'm like, this is a really good movie. I feel like it's a little over. I feel like the enthusiasm is a little.
I would say more like instead of overrated. I would more like say overhyped.
Well, right. Well, it's like
that's a better way to say it, because if you gave it like 3.5 stars or something like that, that's when I would think it's like a better way to call it overrated.
But see, I liked it a lot, so I'm not gonna give it 3.5. But I'm saying like, okay, like for instance, there are movies that are overhyped where I feel like the hype is justified, where their success and the fact that everybody is using that as sort of a thing, as a cudgel to be like, this is what movies should be. Like Barbie is an example that people said that it's overhyped. I don't agree with that, mainly because I think that the movie does all the hard work to earn the hype it's gotten. I feel the same way about another movie that's getting really hyped right now, which is Bottoms, which is another movie where it's like people who've seen it are going on about it and are kind of telling people to see it. And I'm on that brigade because I've now seen the movie twice and I really want to see it again, because I think that for what it set out to do, it did it so successfully that the hype is justified, and the fact that it's doing well makes me happy. And I get how for different people that's different movies. You know, I understand that completely. I understand why Ninja Turtles doing well, you know, because it means a lot to you, impacts you, you know.
Well, and also the fact that like especially when it comes to the like when it actually comes to the characters in that one,
they got it right.
Yeah, and also I related to them. Like
right.
That's another thing. Like if they like do it in a way where it's like I relate to them, it's like you already get my stamp of approval. Like,
I also think though the thing that I kind of will give you about, and this is sort of the way I was on my end with Barbie, is the fact that with Top Gun and with Ninja Turtles is that there is a way to screw those movies. Same with Barbie. Those three movies, there is a million ways to screw those movies up. That's been done before or could be done to screw those movies up. And the fact that they don't, and not only do they successfully make the movie good, but they make the movie really good, and it sticks the landing, that makes you want to praise it even more because they did it where others didn't. Yeah. Right, I totally get that. Ninja Turtles, I think I said it in my review, and I stand by it. It's probably the best theatrical Ninja Turtles movie that has ever been made. It's true.
I mean, it is.
But what competition does it really have, though? I mean, I have a soft spot for Ninja Turtles too, but that's mainly because that was like a childhood nostalgia thing.
Yeah, and here's another thing also to kind of speak on what you were talking about, like with there's a million ways they could have screwed it up. Mario's another good example. They could have easily screwed that movie up horribly.
They did it.
It could have been another Super Mario Brothers 1993 incident where it's like they don't follow the games, but what we saw like in the marketing was like, no, this is actually completely made by Mario fans.
I get that. I'll say this. I get that, and I have to say, it is considerably better. I think that anybody looking at it with any kind of critical eye will see that it's clearly better than the 90s one. But I'm sorry. I just kind of love that 90s one. It's not a good movie by any means.
It's not a good movie at all, but I mean, I had nostalgia towards it, to be honest. Like,
it's not a good movie, but at the same time, like, it's one of the most imaginative bad movies I've seen when it comes to like production design.
It's like one of the best bad movies. Like,
it's kind of, I feel this way about that to a certain extent the way I feel about Knights of the Zodiac. It's like, it's not a good movie, but at the same time, I'm not mad when I watch that movie. I'm genuinely
you're right.
So. I'm pretty sure I own that movie, actually. The original Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah. But I think that should be it for tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Grant, for joining me, man. You're the best.
Yeah, always, man.
again, go subscribe to his channel. Try to get. Come on, you guys, get him to 400.
Thank you so
He
much.
deserves it.
And thank you so much for the people who have all the way along this journey. Like, honestly, when I started this, I thought, okay, maybe like my family and friends, it'll be like maybe 15 people, and then like within the first year it was almost 100, and then by now, almost 3 years into this, I'm almost 350 subs, which is like insane.
Dude, you're like another quarter away from it, dude. Like,
well, yeah, around there. Yeah, and I love doing it even when I hate movies. Sometimes I even love it when I hate it because I just have more to say. But like, look at how we went on in this review of 2 good movies. We spent a good half of it talking about Meg 2, the terrible movie.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the fun of it, though.
But should I drop my like socials on here or just
go right ahead, my dude? Go right ahead.
Maybe give people a little taste of what they're coming up on the dock for a little bit. So my channel is Raising Popcorn with Grant. That is where you can find me. Also, it is bare bones right now, but we are also have a second channel called More Popcorn with Grant. We are going to be there to do like watch-alongs, game nights, miscellaneous vlogs, maybe down the line. Who knows? Maybe stuff that's like non-movie and TV related. I might do a try channel where I like try weird food. I don't know. But like we're gonna do stuff like that. Like when they have something crazy like that Sour Patch Kids cereal or something that comes out. Like then just be like, I don't mind throwing up. Let's try this. But like that kind of thing. I'm also on everything. I'm on Music Board. I'm on Letterboxd. I don't want to be, but I am. Twitter. I'm not calling it X. It's Twitter. Facebook, Threads. Instagram. My channel has a Facebook page. Yeah. Did I leave anything out? I'm on Twitch, even though I never use it.
TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. Yes. Thank you, TikTok. There's so many of them. It's a Music Board, Instagram. I'm also on Spotify. I have a podcast on there. I haven't touched it in over a year. I'm going to kind of soft reboot it, I think, probably in the new year and just start fresh. That's the plan. Also this week, check out, we have a packed weekend of reviews. We're going to be seeing Haunting in Venice. We're going to be seeing Outlaw Johnny Black, which I'm really excited for. It's the sort of spiritual follow-up to Black Dynamite, which is one of my favorite movies. The Retirement Plan, starring Nicolas Cage. We also got this animated film called The Inventor. It's about Leonardo da Vinci. We're seeing that. We're seeing this movie. It's called like Camp Hideout. It has Corbin Bleu in it. It looks vaguely like the kids' summer camp version of Family Camp. So it's made by the same people. So I'm like, oh no. It's one of the same distributors. We also have like It Lives Inside is coming out. The Creator's coming out. Saw Patrol is upon us. Like there's gonna be some good movies coming out. So we also got like I have almost 800 reviews on here already. 800 videos, reviews, streams, all that shit. So like subscribe if you want. Yeah, we give a lot. Yeah. So yeah, very rarely does a week go by that I don't have something on my channel. So.
But yeah, this Friday, more than likely, we'll be doing our watch along for Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So look forward to that.
I think I'm going to be at a screening that night. If I can, I'll be here. If you need another guest.
I think I probably would need somebody just in case. Like what's like the earliest like you're doing you're seeing 1 or 2?
I'm seeing 2 that day. Honestly, I think I won't be home till like 9:30, so that probably won't work.
Yeah, you won't really have enough time, and also the fact that I got to get up early the next day.
Yeah. Also, if you like the movie Nefarious, you might not want to subscribe because you won't like me. Because a lot of my reviews, I am a bleeding heart lib. So if you don't like me trashing neo-Nazi Trumpy movies, you're not gonna like my channel. Not to say I hate all of them, but like the ones that are bad. I like the hippies and Jesus man, as I call it. Jesus bro.
Jesus Revolution.
You know what? Forget everything. Go. My friend Brad Jones, the cinema snob, and yes, I've met the man twice, so we're kind of sort of pals. He made a movie called Jesus Bro. It's one of the funniest freaking religious spoofs ever. Santa Christ is Jesus in that. So yeah, go rent Jesus Bro.
So yeah, we will. You know, yeah.
We're just talking at this point.
We're just talking, but thank you guys so much for popping in, and then and again, Grant, you're the best. Thank you so much.
Right back at you, buddy. See you later, guys.
Yep. See you guys later. Peace.
Peace.